CM Punk returned to wrestling in August of 2021. He returned in All Elite Wrestling, and at that time, it looked like that was going to be his home for the rest of his wrestling career. But later, better heads would prevail. CM Punk would find himself out of All Elite Wrestling. And at that time, everybody speculated his career was officially over. It was done for. There was no shot that he would ever return to the place that harmed him most, the WWE. That was until Survivor Series War Games in November of 2023. In the midst of CM Punk returning to wrestling, Drew McIntyre would actually be in the Thunderdome, working his way to becoming a 2-time, 3-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He was on the run of a lifetime. In an era that was struggling very, very badly, Drew McIntyre was there to pick up all the pieces. One of the greatest stories I think we've seen in professional wrestling was the story that was untold. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the story of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Guys, my name is Billy Davis. If you're new here, definitely be sure to like this video and also be sure to subscribe to the channel. This video is definitely a different type of video than we normally make, and I'm looking forward to creating more videos like this. So definitely be sure to hit the notification bell, turn on the notifications, and get notified every time that I post a new video. But without further ado, let's dive in to the story of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. In 2023, CM Punk returned in Chicago, Illinois at Survivor Series War Games to the WWE. The regime had been taken over. Vince McMahon was no longer a part of the company, which, if you guys do not know, was one of the reasons that CM Punk actually left the company in 2014. So when he left, a lot of people just had speculated that his career was over, but something always felt unanswered about CM Punk. He was destined to come back. So he finally made his way home. CM Punk returned. It looked like it was happy-go-lucky. He was happy. He even said he had returned home. After taking a couple digs at AEW, it was finally time for CM Punk to really get on the road and find out what he was going to be doing, as it was almost time for WrestleMania. CM Punk was going to be entering the Royal Rumble. Had a face-to-face with Cody Rhodes, and at the time, Cody Rhodes was on a collision course for Roman Reigns. This story is very interesting. CM Punk was supposed to be taking on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. At least, that's what all the dirt sheets said. Don't always trust the dirt sheets. And in the Royal Rumble match in 2024, CM Punk was ultimately injured. Who was he injured by? Was it an accident? Did he do it on purpose? Why was CM Punk injured? After being injured in AEW numerous times, he comes right back to the WWE and gets injured again by none other. At that time, not many people were sure what was going to happen. Was he going to take his ball and go home? Or was he going to continue on the road to WrestleMania and help continue the build? WWE was scrambling. They didn't know what to do. They knew they had a great main event for both nights between Cody and Roman and Seth and Punk. But ultimately, Seth getting injured would lead for plans to change. CM Punk was injured by Drew McIntyre. So in this moment, it felt like there was nobody better fit to enter the feud with Seth Rollins rather than Drew McIntyre. You had a great story directly in front of your face. Seth Rollins hated CM Punk and what he stood for. Drew McIntyre injured Punk. You had the story, and all you had to do was fit CM Punk in the mix. And WWE just did that. In the midst of all this, Drew McIntyre would be all over social media, dating back from the Monday following Royal Rumble up until WrestleMania, on social media, talking about how he ruined the dreams of CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania. Drew was the ultimate hater. He became the person that nobody could stand. He was CM Punk's biggest op, if we're being quite honest. And he played that character very well. So let's talk about it. Drew McIntyre would sell merch, post tweets, be all over social media for his hate. But eventually he was going to have to run into CM Punk. They were going to have to meet face to face. And on a Raw in Chicago, that happened. In the later days of March 2024, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre would have a very long, about 20-minute segment on the mic, battling it out. CM Punk would talk about how he would be inserting himself into that main event match some way or another. Ultimately, he chose commentary. CM Punk vowed to make Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre relevant again. So we fast forward to early April. WrestleMania 40, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Opening up night 2, after Seth Rollins had battled with the Bloodline the night prior, ultimately losing, very beaten and very injured, would lose his World Heavyweight Championship to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre then would celebrate his win, going to his wife, looking at CM Punk on commentary and gloating, showing this could have been you, but it never was. It was me. And at that time, CM Punk had his brace on. He was wearing his brace for his injury, and then ultimately would take out Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was standing on the announce desk. Punk tripped him, brought him back down, hit him with his cast. And all of a sudden, you hear Damian Priest's music hit. Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre's hate grew and grew after Damian Priest cashed in the Money in the Bank. CM Punk cost him. It was going to be Drew's time in front of the fans. He was finally going to get one in front of the fans. After being robbed in 2020, winning the World Heavyweight Championship in front of nobody, Drew McIntyre was finally going to get his moment. And ultimately, CM Punk cost him. After, CM Punk would only hit certain towns. He was still out with injury and wasn't fully medically cleared to come back and compete. At this time, Drew McIntyre would continue his run back into the World Heavyweight Championship picture, which ultimately he did. So we now enter Glasgow, Scotland, Drew McIntyre's homeland, where he comes from. Drew McIntyre is set for a rematch against Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And a lot of us fans believed it is now Drew McIntyre's time. They're not going to do it to him again. How could he be snubbed again? How? It was the question that we all had. WWE would never do that to him. He's done too much good work. So we thought. We get to Scotland. Clash at the Castle 2024. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, World Heavyweight Championship. It was a brutal match. Really, really good wrestling match. Damian Priest looked to have gotten injured, but ultimately didn't. So good news for him. Drew McIntyre looked as if he was about to win the match. And then suddenly the ref gets knocked off the barricade, or gets knocked off the side of the ring. So we all know at this moment, shenanigans are about to happen. But what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Are they just going to bring out another ref? They do bring out another ref. And the camera angle on this was perfect. 1, 2. And just as it's about to strike 3, the hand never drops. But Damian Priest never gets his shoulders up. Drew sits up, and who do you see as the ref? CM Punk. CM Punk has ultimately cost Drew McIntyre twice for the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk would low blow him, allowing Damian Priest to hit his finisher. The ref eventually gets up, counts the 3 count, and Drew loses in Glasgow, Scotland, his homeland, the place where he was supposed to win it all. So we fast forward to a more present day. This past Monday on Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre would ultimately make his return in Corpus Christi, Texas. It was there where he actually quit the WWE. He came out, quit the WWE, would go backstage, look at Triple H after seeing Triple H praise CM Punk in the press conference after Clash at the Castle. Ultimately quit. And then we move on to tonight, Friday Night SmackDown. CM Punk would come out, cut a promo in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Ultimately to let people know he was cleared. Still a leaning question. Later in the night, you would hear a knock on the garage during a Grayson Waller, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa interview. You would hear a knock on the garage of the Allstate Arena. Laid there is a bloodied, hurt CM Punk. And over top of him, no other than Drew McIntyre. So what many people thought was a work, Drew McIntyre quitting the WWE, ultimately was not the truth. He was always going to get his revenge in Chicago. He would walk out to the ring, dump CM Punk's hopeless body in front of his friends and family in Chicago, take CM Punk's bracelet off of his hands with the name of his wife, and his dog, AJ and Larry. And we're now on the road to their match at SummerSlam. Guys, my name is Billy Davis. If you're new here, definitely be sure to like this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. This story is still ongoing. So if you guys would like a part 2, definitely let me know down in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to get you guys a part 2. But for now, this is the story of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Definitely be sure to hit the notification bell on your way out. I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace.